One of the greatest mysteries in the anime fandom right now is why do people hate Yoasobi so much? You can have announcements across the board for theme song artists, whether it be Man with a Mission, or Trycell, or Claris, whoever is announced to doing a song for a series, and everybody just kind of, it's like crickets. You might get one person that says, cool, I love their music, can't wait to hear it. But no, only with Yoasobi do you get like tons of people just saying, oh my gosh, why do they keep using that artist? I'm so sick of hearing their music, even though they've only done like 4 shows ever. It is an oddity there. Now, I do understand some people's concerns and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to get that in a minute. I'm going to actually go through and talk about my thoughts about this particular announcement. And yes, a lot of the outrage around it. But yes, for those that missed it, Monogatari series had a countdown timer on their website, and it had a little Y, kind of teasing what they're going to announce, which, if you go based off their previous teases, you would assume that it was going to be Yoi Monogatari, which is another series, but it ended up actually being the announcement of Yoasobi doing the theme song for the currently announced series, which is the Monogatari series Off and Monster Season. Now, that's great news. I was like, yeah, cool. Yoasobi is a really great band, or team, technically, 2 people working on it. So I was kind of excited for it. But yes, there's a lot of outrage for it. Before I get into that again, they did have a little bit of a kind of a snippet, a comment from the performers and what they think about them doing a performance song for the actual series itself, which Ayase, who is the composer that does all the music for it, they said, the Monogatari series is a work that holds a special place in my heart, to the point where I always answer Monogatari when asked what my favorite anime is. When I found out that I would be be in charge of the music for the latest installment, I was so happy that I was on cloud 9. I poured my heart and soul into the work, packing it with my love for the series and the characters that appear in it. Please enjoy. It is so sad with all the outrage and people are so mad about this, and it's like literally the guy that's composing the music's like, I love this series so much. I'm in cloud 9 that I get to do this for this. Like, he has a passion for it, and then literally there's all these people that are upset about it. And then you have the vocalist, Ikura. They said, I am truly honored to be involved with the music in the latest installment of Monogatari series, a work that has been loved by many people for a long time. I sang each song with careful consideration of the feelings of the characters that appear in this work. I hope you'll enjoy listening to it. And yes, they did tease that, I think, tomorrow, which I'm not sure might be later on tonight, as a recording of this. They're going to be releasing like a teaser for it, so like a little snippet of it. So can't wait to hear it. But yes, for those that don't know who Yoasobi is and where I'm getting at with my joke about them having a little bit too much hate, of course, I think the first time I noticed them was Beastars. Beastars' second season, they did a song for that. It was fantastic. Had it on our podcast for music for that season. Really great song. Then they did Gundam Witch of Mercury, which was a very much so more electronic and very, I would say not my favorite of their works, but it was still a good song. And obviously most people know them for their work for Oshinoko. Idol. Yes, that song literally made them chart. Literally. They were #1 in Japan for a long time. This thing was selling like hotcakes. It's probably literally in every single karaoke machine in Japan. That's how popular it was. It put them on the map for anybody that's not even a fan of their other works. This is something that globally took off. Tons of views on YouTube. This thing was huge. And I think that's where we start to kind of get into the realm of people starting to, I guess, hate them because they're so popular. Is because obviously there was a while where you couldn't walk 2 feet without running into a music video of theirs. Like, it's like, oh crap, there's that opening again. And I think that sort of started to create that hatred for it. And then yes, we had Frieren. Frieren had their music in it as well. Now, for me personally, and I agree with a lot of people, I think there is a fear here of style, and that's where a lot of the pushback is that yes, Yoasobi, in a lot of cases, puts a lot of electronic in it. That's to do with the composer. I think he did like Vocaloid stuff in the past. He's done a lot of electronic stuff to kind of mix in with his stuff. And yeah, you have things like Gundam Witch of Mercury it had just that grime of electronic that me personally I didn't care for. And yeah, when we heard that Frieren was going to have their music, it's like, wait, this is a fantasy series. They're going to have some pop electronic group working for them. That's not going to work. I still think it was a really epic song. But yeah, I'll agree with some people that I wasn't a huge fan with it fitting with Frieren. So I do kind of see people's arguments, and I think it kind of applies here as well, of that fear of it messing with, the Monogatari series. Now, where I do agree with a lot of people in the outrage of them doing the music for the Monogatari series is I think people are kind of jumping to conclusions here. And I think that's where the problem that we have is that people believe that if it's a Monogatari series, it has to have character music. For those that have not watched the Monogatari series, one of the staples they have in the series is that the seiyuu for a character will perform a song as the character. And that has always been fun because it has its own animations to go with it. It's basically telling a story at the same time. The character's obsession with, Araragi, or just a goofy theme about the character themselves. And I do agree. That's pretty much why I picked up this. This is literally every single character song. There's so many of them. They had this massive release they did for it. It's beloved titles that they do with these. But I want people to keep in mind that is not a valued argument for now. It's not a valued argument right now to say Yoasobi is doing music for the Monogatari series. That means we're going to get that and not these. No, because why I say that is because pretty much every single installment of the series has had an artist behind it, not a character song. And that's typically for the EDs. Sometimes they'll play them in the OPs for certain installments or certain Blu-ray releases, but for the most part, yes, character songs are the OP, and then they'll have an artist do the ED. This can be anything from Supercell. They love Claris. I mean, this is Shaft. Shaft has an obsession with Claris. If it's a Shaft show, there's a 90% chance that it's going to be Claris doing the music for it. I mean, they did music for the Madoka Magica. They did music for Monogatari series. They love Claris. And yeah, they had Tricell, Alisa. There's been a lot of artists that have been involved with the Monogatari series. But yes, I do agree. It's typically always with the ED. Sometimes they'll put it in the OP. So them announcing that they have Yoasobi, it could be that they're getting them for the ED. Now, I can agree that with how big Yoasobi is right now, it can be a possibility they'll use it for the OP, just to drum up that excitement. There's a stigma that I think mostly Western fans have. There's a stigma around the EDs, that the EDs are always like the lesser, because most people get to the ED and they stop watching. The OP is typically something you have to get through to get to the episode. Now, yes, that's why they put a lot of snippets at the end of the episode itself that kind of draws you to keep watching it, but I can see, because of something like Yoasobi being involved with this, that it could be an OP. But we don't know that yet. It could be, again, like every other series of the Monogatari series, it could be they're doing them for the ED. We'll see. It's a possibility there. So don't count your eggs quite yet, is what I'm basically saying. But again, I do see it as a valid argument for people to be upset about this announcement just because they're afraid they're not going to get their really fun little character OPs to go along with the series, which are really beloved by those that are massive fans of the series. That's a staple they've been doing for the franchise for a long time, and I can see people being afraid of them breaking that staple with this new release. So yeah, like I said, I can agree with that. And yeah, that's what I pretty much got when I was skimming through a lot of the replies in the Japanese announcement of it, and a lot of people in Japan replying to that announcement with their concerns. So this is mostly just Japanese users, or at least they're typing in Japanese. Their account looks like it's Japanese. The latest in the long-awaited Monogatari series, but the theme song is, again, sorry to the Yoasobi fans, but just hearing that made me a little deflated. I'll see it. I thought it would be a character song based on the trend so far. Is there really a need to push Yoasobi so hard? Now, this is the assumption that this user has, is that they're not going to do character music for the OP, and that this isn't the ED, which again is the staple. Character OP and an artist doing the ED. But additionally, I do want to make it noted here that, yes, the reason why a lot of these companies are picking up on Yoasobi, and that's what I was saying with Furin. People are like, why Yoasobi? They had their big hit with Oshinoko, but I'm sick of hearing them. Again, I'm not sure why them having one previous track that was really a hit suddenly makes them around too much. Again, if you look at my list that I have here, since Beastar's second season, they've only done 4 theme songs. That's not much. That is not even one a year. And you can have artists that literally pop up every single season. This isn't unheard of. But yes, I do understand that the reason why I think that they used it for Frieren was because they were a massive hit right now at that time with Oshinoko. They were the hottest thing in Japan. It was in every karaoke. It was literally, again, topping charts. The best way that you can draw attention, because that's sometimes there's a one-way, it's a two-way street. In some cases, production committees and stuff will essentially insert their titles from the record label into the anime to sell their records. And there's a lot of cases Where the reverse will happen, they will bring in a artist into their show for the sake of drumming up attention to their show. So when they had Frieren and they used the OP from Yoasobi, it was literally a free advertisement. Like, they put it out there and everybody's like, holy crap, it's Yoasobi again. What is this show? Oh, it's Frieren. They go to watch Frieren. It's a reverse advertising that kind of happens from there. It's sort of cross-pollinating between the two brands. The Yoasobi brand and the Frieren brand. They're cross-pollinating, basically. So I can see, yes, the argument here is, gosh, do they need to push this brand so much? Again, first argument, they haven't done much. You just keep seeing it. And second argument is that, yes, it's cross-pollinating between the two brands. Next comment says, well, I like Yoasobi, but it's like, here we go again. With the guesses, Mercury, Frieren, I hope they don't do that. I think the translation goofed up here, or maybe they mistyped and then thus the translation messed up. I'm assuming what they're saying here is essentially that I hope they don't do like they did with Mercury and Frieren. And again, that's where my argument earlier was, where yes, I do agree that like with Mercury, especially with Mercury, and they did it with Frieren too, they get pretty heavy with the electronic, and that can be some. I think that personally, I kind of think that fits with the Monogatari series, but at the same time, I do see with people like going, I don't want that. I don't want something that heavy in the series. So I think right there is more of an argument of the style that Yoasobi does not fitting with what they think should be with Monogatari series. And again, I think that might be due to sort of focusing too much on the OP and how they're usually kind of fun and goofy with the character themselves singing. The EDs are, I don't know, if I remember correctly, a lot of them are very kind of melancholy, I guess the best way to put it. Very chill in a lot of regards. So again, I could see that as well. Here's another person, seriously, please don't. just change the opening. Again, they're afraid of losing those character openings. Next one, well, what about the character songs? That one is, I think, is more asking, okay, that's cool and everything, but what about who's doing the OPs? Who's doing which characters are you going to do for the OPs? Which you could probably assume based on what the character focus is going to be. And the last one I picked up says, well, what about the character songs? Yoasobi, no need to have them. Ugh. Again, why do people not like Yoasobi so much? I think there's a side of it that I think some people just don't like the popularity of Yoasobi. It's like it got too big. And again, I can kind of agree with people, not agree with them, but I can see their perspective and the idea that, again, when Oshinoko came out and that OP literally, again, top charts for weeks on end, that song was everywhere. You couldn't step 2 feet without running into another one of them, or somebody's playing it on a radio station or whatever. It's all over the place. It's in your YouTube feeds constantly. People are making videos out of it. They're clipping it over and over again on Twitter or whatever. So I could see people getting sick of them. But again, I think people need to keep in perspective that they haven't been around for very long in the anime sphere. They're not that huge. Again, they're huge, but they're not always everywhere. You don't have them making a song every single season. I remember for a while there, and I liked it. We got a lot of like Man with a Mission, a lot of other artists was like, it felt like every single season, oh, there's the next song from them. Oh, there's the next song from them. Cool. I accept it, but there's some times where I think when they get around too much, you'll start to get that samey feel. There's a lot of artists that when after like the third time you have them in a season in a row, you're like, this sounds kind of samey. So don't. There is a fear there that that'll happen. But again, there's a couple things to take from this. One is, again, they've only done 4 shows in like the history of anime, which again, since Beastars, when was Beastars? Beastars was 2021. So yeah, it would be about one a year if you counted 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. It's not that big. It's not that common, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, granted, yes, Gundam Witch of Mercury, Oshinoko, and Frieren, those were all within a little over a year span. So yeah, you can technically make the argument there, but I don't think it's that common. And we'll just have to see from going on here. It's going to be a while before the Monogatari series off-season and Monster Season even comes out. So again, even then you're going to have a nice long gap since Frieren, which again, technically ended in winter. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on this whole situation. Again, I want to kind of emphasize, it's kind of sad to see the little bit of negativity. It's not huge. I'm not the type that likes to go, oh my gosh, Twitter's blowing up about this. And it's like, 15 comments currently. But it is kind of a sad thing when this guy's like so excited about the fact that he can do music for this brand, and everybody, there's a group of people that are kind of crapping on his parade. But I'm excited for the series no matter what. I'm really looking forward to it. Yes, am I concerned about losing these? I'm not concerned about losing them because I think they're still going to do that. It's a staple. But yes, I would be really upset if they didn't do the character songs, because again, that's how much I love it. I went and got it the entire thing. So anyways, that's my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know what you think of this whole situation. Are you sick of Yoasobi? Do you think they perform too much? Are you just don't like their music? Let me know in the comments down below. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, I'll be covering this show whenever it comes around for sure. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips, links, super things, membership button below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.